You are in conversation with Dr. Eni Moletsane.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow listeners, this is Comesa Radio Worldwide, CRW, the mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. We are an African online radio station with a global reach, streaming live from Zanzibar, South Africa. I'm located here outside OR International in a small place called Clopper Park, specifically. And I'm with my colleagues from the Valley University of Technology, tuning in all the way from the campus. And of course, I'm joined by our anchor of the day, Sylvia Mamorare. I know she's logging in from Midrand in Gauteng as well. Welcome. Our shows are based on a principle called the idea. We inform and entertain. We develop and educate. We empower and support. We associate and network. That's the idea. This is our monthly show, our monthly series in partnership with the Valley University of Technology, specifically the Cooperative Education Department, and they will tell you more about it, to be specific, and particularly the unit that we are hosting. Of course, in the background, I'm assisted by Michael in terms of quality check. And of course, the team at Valley University is made up of Dr. Eni Moletsane, Edwin Mavelane, and Simon Muthala supporting the process. But today is not about all these people. It is about one particular guest, Dr. Jeremiah Matzimure, and of course, in conversation with our very own Sylvia Maleare Mudipadi Mamrare. Sylvia, I've called you with all your names. This is your moment. Yeah.
Yes,
How are you doing? And
you.
welcome. Over to you to take us into conversation. Greet the listeners and tell us what is in store for us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Tima. Of course, I think for all those streaming in today and those that are listening, there's definitely they will not miss me with all those names. You know, they are all for all those that will know me even much better. Yes, thank you for the opportunity and good evening to all my esteemed listeners. As already mentioned by Coach Tima, my name is Sylvia Mamorare. I am the independent human resources consultant. I think I'm citing 33 years of corporate experience, specializing in all the HR value chain processes. I am the deputy president of the IPM, the Institute of People Management, for those that might not know it. And really, I must mention as well that I am a proud member of the COMESA Friends and Supporters Club. And hence, I am here today anchoring this session for all of you and all our listeners. Yes, my esteemed listeners, today is the July edition, which is the second show of the monthly series of the VUT, the Valley University of Technology, Students Academic Development Support and Work Integrated Learning. And of course, we are live at COMESA Radio Worldwide, as Coach Tima has already mentioned. Today's theme is delivering impactful first-year experience at Valley University Technology. And we are in conversation with our dear Dr. Jeremiah Matzimure. I know affectionately known as Jerry to most of those who are interacting with him. Dr. Matzimure is the first-year experience facilitator at the Valley University of Technology. And don't worry, I will get him to introduce himself shortly. But first, let me just clarify this and make this important announcement to our listeners. Especially for our new listeners, please note and be informed that this show, the Valley University of Technology, Student Academic Development Support and Work Integrated Learning, this show actually takes place on the last Wednesday of every month at 1800 hours, live at the Cometa Radio Worldwide. Today's topic is of intense interest in my heart. And actually, I must say, it takes me back to my first year at the university many, many years ago. And I think looking back, I so wish that I had an opportunity to be exposed to such support and experience. And to you listeners who may be the current students or may have potential pupils who are aspiring to be students at the Valley University of Technology, please, today you are having this good opportunity to listen to Dr. Matsimure, as I believe he will share very valuable information with all of us. Dr. Matsimure, I must just say to you again and the team, I know Dr. Eni, as mentioned, that you are here today together with Edwin and Simon. I would like to thank you for the opportunity of this platform as well through your program at VUT. And I need to say that to Dr. Matsimure, a special welcome to you to the Cometa Radio today. And I hope that you are as excited as I am and that we will have a conversation that will truly benefit our listeners today. So let me really give you this opportunity and welcome you with basically starting with the question that I must get you in, and I hope you are already warmed up. I would like to start maybe to get an ice breaking and ask you to tell us who is Dr. Jeremiah Matsimure and what brought him to the Valley University Technology and when. So you can take us that through in detail as you introduce yourself. Welcome, Dr. Matsimure.
Thank you for having me. Good evening to you, Sylvia and Mr. Sam, and all the listeners out there. As you already previously said, my name is Jeremiah Matsimure. I'm popularly known as Dr. Jerry in VUT circles, like amongst my colleagues and my students. I'm an FYE coordinator, first year experience coordinator in the Center for Academic Development. And I'm as well as a part-time lecturer in the education department, still at VUT, is the Valley University of Technology. I hold a BSc honors degree. I've got an MBA. I've got a doctoral degree, business. I also have the postgraduate diploma in higher education. I'm nearing completion of my master's degree in education in curriculum studies at another South African university. Plus, I got several certificates. I recently got a supplementary instruction from United States of America. I've got project management from other universities, curriculum development, instructional design, among other certificates. I'm very passionate about studying. I keep on studying. I don't know where to take me to, because I'm waiting to have another second doctoral degree in 2 years' time. I'm very passionate about research. I can say I'm a good researcher. I've got more than 50 research articles in DHET journals. So I'm very passionate also about my work, which I've already mentioned, that as a coordinator of the first year experience, I'm a people's person. I love working with the students. I've got more than 10 years working in higher education. But just responding to your question, you said, what brought me to VUT? I just say, I've been definitely looking for greener pastures. But I always wanted to work at the University of Technology. That was always my vision, and it comes true. Previously, I was a lecturer at University of Johannesburg. I think for about 5 years. That is 2008 to around 2012. Then there's a position comes up at VUT, which I was the mass fair coordinator from 2012. Also working with the students, managing the tutorial sessions. So in 2022, a post just come here at VUT for the FYE coordinator. Unfortunately, I got it because I see that one as an opportunity. As I already mentioned, that I always had this passion for students. I see this as an opportunity that I can work closely with, especially the first year students. So that's how I end up being at VUT. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Matsumure. I think it's good that you are at. You know, they always say that wherever where it lands you, that's basically the right place where you should be. And maybe we should congratulate Sis Annie for actually chasing after you and even getting you, because I do believe that they made a good choice in terms of the person that should be on this project and basically running this portfolio. I must say, I'm listening to you now mentioning the fact that you are continuing to learn and you still want, you don't know where the learning will take you as you want to continue to have yet another doctorate. It should actually be very much encouraging. And I am glad to hear that, because, you know, they say learning never stops. And maybe this is the epitome that, that you are bringing. And, you know, also a very good gesture for the university as well, because, you know, the university is there to provide knowledge and to continue to develop our young people, those that will be coming. You know, I actually support your learning because, and maybe Sis N and the team, they will always know as well that there's this notion that goes that you cannot do today's business with yesterday's skills and stay in business tomorrow. So your continuous learning will basically just get this to actually continue. And we are assured that our students will continue to get that new experience. Thank you, Dr. Mutsumure, for that.
Thank you.
Yes. Maybe let's just continue. I have quite a number of questions to ask you, and hopefully we will go through and have some time to complete all of them. Can you just tell us a little bit more about this portfolio that you are holding? You know, what does this portfolio of the first year experience coordinator entail? You know, take our listeners through so that we could understand in terms of what it is and how does it feature and aligns to the Valley University of Technology.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the first year experience coordinators, it entails firstly coordinating the orientation, which you always do during the beginning of the year. That's soon after the students have registered, just before they start their first classes. So we've got a 1 week long where we do the orientation. We need to orientate so that they adjust to the university life. Remember, these are the first year students, the new students coming from high school. So they need to adjust to the university life. We also do extended orientation, where we go to even the other campus. Here I'm on the main campus. We go to other campus like Sebokeng campus. We do this orientation. Also, you have academic advising, just coordinated in a separate unit. We also have mentoring, also have tutoring, amongst others. We also have this job entails me to do a first year award ceremony, where we are awarding the best achieving students in their first year courses. So in all faculties, we choose those best students who've done well during their first years. We also have what we call the COP sessions, call them the community of practice. We do this one with the first year lecturers, those first year lecturers teaching the first year students. So we measure in topics such as emotional intelligence in teaching and learning, engaging first year students online. How do they engage with them? Also have strategies to adapt to the invest environments, which is very key to what I've alluded before. So we also have workshops on student success, which are facilitated for those first year lecturers, where they can impart to their students. We also engage in parents of the first year students. Recently had a successful parents meeting, I think on the 4th of July, during the holidays, where we engage the parents of these first-year students. We interact with them, we discuss what are those challenges. I think I'm going to say that we also have the next meeting will be on the 3rd of October, which is during the next holiday, where we need to have more interaction with these parents meeting. I think I'll talk more on that. Also, this position entails to do research. So as a FYE coordinator, entitled to do research towards the good practice. So we need to always conduct research on what we are doing, so that inform the best practices. This post as well, as a coordinator, it entails that you need to do what we call the first-year motivational seminars amongst our students. And the next one is scheduled to take place in the September, October. We're busy planning it. And as a first-year experience coordinator, entail to develop what we call the online orientation module. So during the orientation, we present this to our students. And lastly, when you do this conduct, as a coordinator, you need to do the surveys, evaluation survey, to measure how we engage way or the orientation has been good or bad, so that we can improve it next time. So I can say these are the key things
that
entails this position. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very much an intense of a program, and I think very valuable to the student and especially our first learners. Maybe to our listeners, as we are going to continue with this talk, and I hope you're starting to get a feel of what the program entails. Let me just remind you, those of you who are on the WhatsApp communication, let me just give you this number again for those who would like to engage us and maybe ask questions through the WhatsApp channel. We are available on it as well. It will also be looked at, and you can then post your questions as we continue with the program. The number to use is +27 63 089 5949. And let me repeat it, +27 63 089 5949. So please do engage us on this platform as we continue with the program. Thank you, Dr. Mutsimure. I think we are having a feel now in terms of what this program entails, and thank you for the detailed explanation of it.
Thank you.
Yes, I think we just want to connect well into it. And maybe if you could also just take us through, we will continue to come back to some of the further clarity on the questions that we have asked and the responses that you have given. I do appreciate your detailed questions as well. But let us just continue and tell us as well in terms of why did the Valley University of Technology need to introduce this portfolio? You know, why did they find the need for such a portfolio? I said earlier on that, you know, when I looked at the topic myself, during my times when I was a university student or on my first year, you know, when I look at what you just said the program entails, I am so much in envy of this new and the current pupils and the learners, the first year learners or the students of today, because, you know, such a platform actually listening to what you say it offers, it could provide them with such insight and such much of a welcoming into them. But we never had such an opportunity. You know, we just had just a simple, what we used to call a freshers welcome, you know, the week of orientation, which I heard you also mentioned. But in most cases, that is where it ended. You know, you had to be given a better experience during the first week of orientation. But I hear in this program, you are basically taking it further. So it's something that continues throughout the year. So why did Valley University of Technology need to introduce it? Can you just elaborate that for us?
Okay, thank you very much. I think you're posing a very good question there. I think the Valley University of Technology need to introduce this very important portfolio, I may say. Because studies have shown that there is a high dropout rates during the first years of study. Like they said, there's around 40%. So VUT was not even exceptional to these statistics. So retaining the students was very key. As I say, this when they brought this program, it was going to be a key in retaining the students. So they needed to introduce FYE so as to increase the students' sense of belonging and deepen the commitment on their own academic goals, aspirations, and academic success. So they need to introduce this FYE program so that they can assist the students successfully transit from high school to university life. I think I've mentioned it before that transition will be very key. These are the one of the roles which FYE is playing.
Yeah.
These are some of the key factors which drive to introduce this
The
portfolio.
need for the portfolio, yes, and very, very, very much important, especially that our generation that now completing their matric and venturing into university, they are becoming a younger and younger generation. And of course, the first years then are still our, what we call probably our late teenagers towards the early young adults. But they really face a different environment on moving from the high school to the university, and very good indeed for VUT to having introduced such a portfolio. But can you just tell us then, because it's right that there's an adjustment that is required, for this transition. But what would you say are some of the challenges that are facing these first year students on campus or studying at the university like VUT?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think there are a variety of challenges, especially VUT. But let me just give you a brief background to say, like at VUT, we usually have about, like this year, about 5,231 students. So about 79% of our students here at VUT, they are funded by NSFAS, which already poses a challenge on its own. It was already said about those first generation, about 84% of our students are the first generation. So one of the key challenges which I want to miss about funding now, we say when there's no funding, that's why we're going to have those high dropout rates, which I've already mentioned. So it becomes one of the key challenges which needs to be addressed. But as you already said, majority of our students, they come from poor, disadvantaged family backgrounds. And majority of the students, they come from far. Even the international students, some they come from Limpopo province, Mpumalanga province. So this poses problems on the accommodation issues, which the university is trying to address. Also, you have the problem with technology use. You find some of these students, I already mentioned, they come from poor, disadvantaged families or backgrounds. They don't even seen a computer when they were studying their matric. So when they come to the university life, they don't even know how to use a computer for the first time. So that's what I'm saying, even FYE becomes key in addressing some of these challenges. Also, but what with the computer literacy, where we train those students and we identify them in their application forms in the surveys, which I said we use. So we find some students, they can't even cope with the university workload from what they used to high school. You remember, in the high school, they rely with the teacher doing everything. They give them here. Here now with university, they're doing lecturing, which is are not used to. So it poses greater challenges to some of these students. But that's what I'm saying. FYE becomes playing a very important role in addressing such issues. Then we also talked about this adaptation to university life. That transition to university life, it becomes a very big challenge from what I've already mentioned before. Also, these students, they have got the poor time management skills. Because now I remember it's different from what they were doing at the high school and here in the university life. So we have got some courses which are providing that they do their time management skills. There's one very important challenge which you always face yearly is the homesickness. You remember this is the first time, maybe the past 12 years, they've been staying with their parents. So now they are independent, they are released now to go and stay in the university life alone. So you can see they will, it used to feel happening during this orientation period. When they start thinking about home now, they start thinking about their parents they've been staying with. So it poses, now they're no longer focusing on their studies, or knowing the environment of the university. So it was already poses greater challenges. Also, some of the students, what you find in those surveys, you find budgeting becomes again a challenge. Because remember when they're at high school, maybe the pocket money they used to get maybe 100 rand. For the first time they come to university, they get 1,000 or 2,000 rands, which would be a lot to them to the first time they get such money. So they need to budget, maybe, for example, throughout the month until they receive another money from their parents. So they don't know how to do this budgeting. So we're providing them with some budgeting skills and proper planning of their money. Then another thing with this man, regarding this man, again, they get from, we find there's a lot of partying. This is what we have identified as well. They like partying during the first week, they end up spending all that money. Then it's going to those challenges. They don't have money for food.
Yeah.
So you think, how do they even attend the classes now? They are hungry now. They are not going to concentrate. So it becomes one of key challenges again. I think one of the last challenges I'm going to talk about is also the peer pressure now. Because now you see, these students now, when they come, they think they are too independent. Because remember, they are no longer staying with their parents. They come alone, depending the type of the person or the student they are going to meet now. So this poses also one of the greatest challenges which our students, mainly at our institution, they are facing. But as I already mentioned, is at VUT, we are trying to combat most of these challenges with our FYE intervention. Thank you very much.
That's very encouraging. Honestly, quite a very good program that one listens to for our first year students. You know, you sound to me like you really have identified, or the challenges that you're talking about are the realities. Things that you mentioned are basically what our youngsters are doing now. These are the things that they're interested in. Obviously, after the hectic pressure of having to pass matric, you know, I think as soon as they have passed and they have qualified and they are even accepted at the university, it might be a very big excitement to them. And obviously, the transition might be taken with a very wrong approach. And you sound to me that you're coming up to them as guardians. You know, what do you say you're doing? The challenges that you are helping them to face, you know, bringing to us like acting in a very, very valuable way of the fact that the parents can be at the comfort that there are guardians there looking after their first year students as they navigate through the university.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very quite good. It's a very quite good program. And I think to our listeners, I hope you are still with us and that you are still enjoying and learning from this program with Dr. Matsumure. Please let me just remind you of our number if you still want to get through to the WhatsApp to give your comments. Our WhatsApp number is +27 63 089 5949. And let's continue, our listeners. Be free to post your statements, post your comments, and any further questions that you would like to ask on this WhatsApp group. We will surely make sure that before the program we have time to just go through them and answer some of your questions that you might be raising. Dr. Mutsumura, thank you. Thanks for the detailed responses that you are giving.
Thank you.
And I think you have described quite well these challenges that the first year students are basically facing at VUT. What actually would we say that are the strategic objectives that the university seek to address through your portfolio? I mean, we all know that the university is more for the academic, as an academic institutions. People get there to come and receive their degrees and off they go. But why is it that this program is being put through? And what is it that VUT wants to achieve as the strategic objectives of this program?
Thank you very much. I think I'm going to take you through the key strategic objectives of VUT and how they align to us. So VUT is in the process. So you are now currently in the old strategic objectives, but there are going to be new strategies, objectives for 2024.
Yes.
Which are already going to be implemented.
Okay.
So under the strategic objective, there's student success. I think I've mentioned that is key, and that's where we are fitting in. We also have technology-enabled learning, curriculum excellence, staff development, brand and image. But me, I'm going to focus on student success, which is going to change in the new strategic objectives, which is going to be implemented in 2024. So they've got 5 key strategic objectives. The first one is quality student experience, cutting edge research and innovation, social engaged scholarship, adequate resources and high performing staff, and good governance and leadership. But I'm going to focus on the quality student experience. So we want success drivers, which drive us to achieve this strategic objective. So we need to have those adequate, qualified, and innovative faculty. We need to have innovative and transformative curriculum. We need to have the quality and digitally enhanced teaching, learning, and support. And then we need to have support student initiatives. That's where I will fit in as FYE. So I'm just going to take how do we fit in this strategic objective, which is quality student experience. So currently we form what we call the Student Success Committee, which was never in existence at VUT.
Okay.
So we form a committee where the SRC, starting from the DVC for teaching and learning, all the faculty deans, everyone is involved because we're driving this student success. So FYE is not excluded in that.
Okay.
So currently, through our executive director for the Center of Teaching and Learning, we've developed the terms of reference. Because we want to develop what we call the student success framework, which will guide us in developing this student success, which is what the university want. Because remember, we said we need to drive the student success. So it's FYE. So this is how we align to the strategic objectives of the university. But everyone is going to be involved, including also our FIE is going to play a very important role. Thank you.
Quite interesting. I think very good strategic objectives, and I am very keen and interested to this new committee, your Student Success Committee. I think you more like on the right direction, especially to the fact that I hear you mentioning the involvement of the SRC as well, which will then provide you with an opportunity to actually know from the students themselves in terms of what their needs are, what the challenges that they are facing are. And then I will take it that in that lineage of the responsibility, then they will be finding a way of having them presented to this Student Success Committee, and that you will then be able to communicate them back and address them. So what will then be the channel of having these matters being addressed and then channeled back to the SRC and these other stakeholders that you mentioned in the committee?
We just communicate to them via email. Remember, we meet as a group, so we discuss all those challenges. So they take from, like SRC, as you mentioned, they'll be talking, representing the students as well. Okay. Then we discuss those challenges together. We try to find a solution together with all the stakeholders, because we already identify those key important stakeholders in driving this student success. Okay.
So the student committee is already been marketed. I come from a corporate world, and I know that introducing certain programs and new things, one has to basically market it and get it well known in the campus or in the organization, especially because this will now entail both the lecturers, the academic area, and the learners themselves, or the students, as you might be calling them. So it's a vast
Yes.
variety of people that will have to be in there, understand what the committee is doing.
Yes, definitely. And we are going to have that framework, which everyone will give us the input into that framework. That is the one which is going to be used by the VUT. So it is our responsibility as our department to formulate that student success framework.
Yeah. So well done to VUT. I think that's a very good
you.
progress and a very good approach in terms of facing the current challenges, that the students are facing at the universities.
Yes, I think it will be one key factor in addressing some of those challenges which I've mentioned before.
Yeah. Just take us through again, Dr. Matsumure. Take us through some of the main activities that you are staging and on campus under your portfolio. Hearing that you are also working with the SRCs and that the Student Success Committee, and I know even if it was new now, but the students and all those, the first years that are involved, what are some of the main activities that you are staging on this campus, and how are they responding to it?
Okay, thank you very much. I think, as I mentioned, the main role we do is orientation. So we work with faculties, because I told there are 4 faculties at our institution. So we work with all those 4 faculties. So what we do during that particular week, you mentioned there, each day we got each own faculty, but each and every day. There are 4 days. On the last day, we do what we call the Orientation Fun Day. I'm going to talk about it. But what we mainly do per each and every faculty, we do what we call the campus tour, where we need to orientate our new students to, for example, the library, which is key, or CAT, the Center for Academic Development, where there's various units within the Center for Academic, such as writing lab, math center, tutorial center, academic advising. Also take them to the library, take them to the clinic, just to know around the campus. We also have the meet and greet with the dean of that particular faculty and their lecturers, because mostly that's what they said in the surveys before. We're not doing this. They said, no, we want to have orientation within the faculties so that we can easily meet our lecturers in the beginning, which was also very, very important. So when they do this campus tour, we usually give our students some t-shirts and caps in their colors. Like each faculty at VUT got its own color, which they identify them. So when they move around campus, they put a particular color, and they put the mentors which will guide them to do this campus tour. So each group will put a different mentor, but I will be coordinating this. So also have an orientation sports day, where we want these people to know. Remember, they are new students.
Yeah.
When they get education, so they go to there's soccer, there's tennis, there's rugby, there's a variety of activities which take place. Then also you have the orientation fund, which I said will take place on the last day of the orientation 4 days. There's lots of fun games, activities. Also one for the relationship. They find their friends. That's why even these new students, they end up finding their friends. Because they find each activity, they group them into those activities. So it becomes very, very important for the students. But I also mentioned about the community of practice workshops. Because the staff like the first year students, you find them very, very beneficial. And I'm talking about those academic advising workshops. Because that's where they teach them those time management skills. It's coordinated from another unit, but we work closely together. We talk about those types of skills to help those students that adjust to university life. Those financial literacy. Also, we have motivational seminars, which I already mentioned, that we hire our alumni students to come and motivate these students. Then also we have referrals. Also, most of the things we don't do, we just refer students when they come to us to consult. We refer them to, for example, not academically, we refer them to student counseling, or they don't know what they think, or something is academic, when they're facing this challenge, we was also have academic advisors. So we do most part of referral system. And it works very well. So these are some of the main challenges, of the main activities which are staging under my portfolio. And some of them I mentioned them before. But going to your question, so how are they responding? I think I'm going to also talk about the students and staff. So students are already mentioned about the evaluation surveys.
Yeah.
After we do the orientation like that week, also we talk about the orientation. We give out the evaluation. Was one day that feedback. We will address what has been lacking, what was good. So after we identify those findings, we report back to the students as well.
Yeah.
Because the students are our key stakeholders. With the no students here, we're not existing. So through these feedback surveys, students are also requesting more workshops, more events, because they are finding it very beneficial. This is how the students are responding to these activities we are giving them. So it's to staff, as I mentioned, you also work with these community of practice sessions. Students, the lecturers, they also give, after each and every workshop is done, we also send some evaluation survey. So we get some positive feedbacks from them, which staff who are participating in those workshops. Also, their general staff, when they're doing these activities, for example, orientation, we always encourage, as example, lecturers. In other staff, they come to join these events. For example, also FYE seminars, I talked about, also conferences. So they come and join us. So that's how they give us feedback. How they are responding to the services we are giving them on campus.
Just one moment, Sylvia.
Yes.
We get the comments from the listeners that there's an echo coming from Dr. Matsumure's side. I know probably is not using a headphone. If they can just reduce the volume of the equipment that they're using, that could be the reason. Or there could be other equipments switched on around him if they could just be switched off. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I had a little bit of that as well, Dr. Matsumura. Maybe we can then just give you area, the people maybe there around you, just to do that.
I suggest while you are reflecting on his answers, if he can just log out and log back in, it should improve.
Just log out. Reduce the volume there.
Yeah, but just log out and log back in, and you can use time just to reflect a bit. There's a comment here coming from, just log out the doctor.
Yeah, I think he did log out.
Okay, you can just come back, and you do have colleagues with you, with him as well, and there is Annie on the line. I know she's not feeling well, but Annie, if you feel you want to contribute, you are welcome, but the doctor is back, so let's hear how it goes now. Over to you. Over to you, Sylvia.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Matsumura, I know you still are responding, and as you are busy just finalizing to settle back in, I listened to your response, especially regarding these activities in this campus and how the students are responding to it. I must just share with you because this reminds me when you're talking about the orientation week, that you do take your students to actually take them through around the campus, to see the campus, to meet some of the deans of the academic faculties and all those different ones. It actually reminds me during my years of study, when I was a first year student, we actually had the same orientation week. But I remember because we were coming from those types of schools where we wouldn't have had a very good career guidance type of a course. So when you go to the university, much as you have in the back of your head what you want to study, but you really don't know what that particular degree entails. And I remember I was one of those that was still wondering, although I knew a little bit of what I needed, I took that opportunity just to visit the different faculties of the orientation. And I still remember the stage I went through to the science faculty, as we were calling it. And I remember on that day, the science students were addressed by a dean of the faculty, and that was for the students that would register for pharmacy, B-Pharm, as they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lost Sylvia. She will come back. I just want to read to you, the doctor, some of the comments that are coming from the listeners, just for you to respond to. There is acknowledgement that this particular program is something that is actually being needed by a number of students, and as you have said, more so now that you have first-time generations coming to the university. So it's not a question, really. It's just a comment. Welcome back, Sylvia. I was just sharing, just hold it there. I was just sharing with the doctor some of the comments coming through.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
there's a comment coming from Ruth saying that the time management is indeed a huge challenge for first-year students. I experienced it myself and also with my daughter. Kudos to this program. It is extremely relevant.
Okay, thank you.
Indeed,
But it does look like we are not winning with the echo. I'm going to suggest that we take a few minutes break, and I'm going to give you colleagues a new link that you log in with so that we don't really miss important points that you want to raise. If you don't mind, let's just take a few minutes break of 3 minutes or so. I will give you a new link and let's proceed after that.
Okay. Thank you.
Just hold it for now.
Got a dopamine rush, got a major league crush when you're next to me.
We are back with Dr. Jeremiah Mazimure. He says he's known as Dr. Jerry, and Sylvia Mamrari. Back, colleagues, we have more questions coming through. There's a comment here from Spice Paul. He's saying that lack of individual or corporate exposure for African children. How does the vocational training, such as CATS, bridge that gap, and in what way? CATS is another program from the corporates, but it's saying how does the vocational program help in closing that gap? Can you comment about this pressure that one goes through when doing both the academic and vocational training? Over to you.
Thank you very much. I think we got not the CAPE, but we got the bridging programs, which assist, especially I'm talking about the first-year students. So that we got those other tutorial programs, we got the bridging courses to assist these students. Like we got mentioned the Government Center, where we got they assist with one-on-one consultation with the students. They also do group consultation with the students. And we got tutorial classes where we identify those underprepared students in how they can mitigate and be successful in their courses. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mazimure. I think it helps a lot in terms of understanding that the challenges that the students are facing, they basically have a channel in terms of where they could raise it, and that you have such a systemic approach in terms of how to receive them, and not only receive, but to ensure that they are being addressed and dealt with. You know, earlier on, as you were explaining, I wanted to just find out more about, you mentioned that you do also make use of the surveys, you know, that you are sending through. And I just want you to just, as you respond to me on this, just to understand in terms of the response rate of the surveys, you know, to what extent do people respond to them, and do they respond on time? Does it actually give you the opportunity as well just to go through them, and when do you feedback to the findings of these surveys? And with particular interest as well, just link it back to what you said earlier on, that some of the activities during the year, you also make sure that you do have an opportunity to interact with the parents. And I take it that it will be the parents of the first-year students that basically get in there. You know, how then do they see, and what is their interest in terms of attending these sessions? You know, do they really attend? What type of questions, or what is their view of the program that you are seeing?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think in responding to your first question about the response rate, I can say they are low to medium. But what we do when we find they are very low, we got good guys who are doing our marketing, we have a marketing team. So we always try to market. If there's a need to meet and extend the guests when we receive the feedback, so that we entice more students to complete this service. Because already during the orientation, we got speeches to them. Say, please, at the end of this orientation, you are going to have a link where you just take, we try to shorten it, but with key, very important questions, which allow us to improve our program. So just say it will take you like less than 10 minutes to complete, and really for sure, it will be very short and completed at any given time. But the challenge we face sometimes is about the complaint about data. Unfortunately, we can't provide that. But let's say go where there's free Wi-Fi, go to campus. We say just go, even the library. There are areas where residents just go and try to compete. So we always market very extensively. But the feedback also help them. So we normally extend also extend giving them feedback. But why we sit down, those are what we are working with. So it's not only you being always work.
Okay.
The Center for Academic Development in our unit is so broad, so work together. So that will give very important feedback to this. Both students want to know also this feedback is very, very important. Then coming back to your question about the parents meeting, I think it was done just this year. It was not existing, this parents meeting. In the first one, as I mentioned, happened during the holiday. That was the first meeting. So there was a high turnover to this meeting. We didn't expect that. We thought there were going to be very, very few parents. And I'm sure if they are listening, the parent meeting is very, very important. Because what we're discussing is the challenges which are already mentioned, facing their children. So we try to find a common understanding and how we can solve them together. Because remember our guidance here, we express already mentioned, which is very true. Parents when they're at home. So we need discussing that the one suggests that let's have another meeting before the end. Because some of them were asking about questions so that they were highly engaged in this meeting throughout. And remember, it was an online meeting. So we're considering about their parents. Majority of the students, they come from far, some international, some from like Limpopo. So considering about those challenges of traveling cost. So we did it online. Because remember, it was also the first time, but it was very, very, very good. We get feedback, which was very, very important. And they suggest that let's have another meeting. So I'm looking forward to that next meeting, which will take place on the 30th of October, which is during our vacation.
Okay. So basically, this first one, you called the meeting earlier on after registration, or still where the first years are still new as well. So where the parents will then have that opportunity to actually go. Because I can imagine as parents, as soon as the child is registered at the varsity and you hear nothing first, second, third month, we seem to be saying, oh, they have adjusted well, they are fine. And they might then have less interest, especially in terms of having to participate in there. So is it?
Yeah, but unfortunately, it was not embedded in there. It was what trying to think and plan with Dr. Corneli or the FYE manager to embed it in the FYE program.
Yeah.
Because remember, during the orientation was not there. So I'm thinking also for in the future. But that what they also suggest, that let it done at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
When the youth come with their students, they can also do that as well. Then those challenges can be addressed early, which would be very, very important for us as well.
Exactly. And do you even consider to actually send the survey to them as well, that they must also just...
That's what we are thinking here before they do the next meeting. Because when they get that reflection will be very, very important to us. But we have thorough discussion. There was a discussion during the meeting. Where they are going to say,
we are inspiring thought and shaping talent.
So that doesn't mean that you have to be a talented person to join VUT. Come if you are inspired, because through your thoughts and through your ideas, you can grow a talent. So that's actually what it is saying. It's very inclusive. So inspiring thought, just come with an idea and then shaping your talent through that.
VUT University of Technology. Inspiring thought. Shaping talent.